your life. Stoic lessons that change everything. Stoicism. Stop explaining your life to everyone. This idea may sound harsh at first, but it is one of the most liberating lessons Stoic philosophy offers. Many people live under the invisible pressure of constantly justifying their choices to friends, family, coworkers, and even strangers. They feel the need to explain why they chose a certain path, why they changed careers, why they set boundaries, or why they live differently from what others expect. Stoicism teaches that this habit quietly drains your peace and your power. The truth is that not everyone deserves an explanation for the way you live your life. Your life is your responsibility, and your decisions should be guided by your values, not by the expectations of others. When you stop explaining yourself unnecessarily, you reclaim your time, your mental energy, and your sense of independence. Stoic thinkers believed that the opinions of others belong to them, not to you. Their judgments are shaped by their experiences, their fears, and their limitations. Trying to manage those opinions is like trying to control the wind. It cannot be done. What you can control, however, is your character, your discipline, and your response to life's challenges. This is where your true focus should be. When you begin to live according to reason and virtue, you no longer feel the constant urge to defend your decisions. Instead, you allow your actions to speak louder than your explanations ever could. If you enjoy learning about Stoicism and how it can transform the way you think and live, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more lessons that help you build inner strength, clarity, and peace of mind. One of the deepest Stoic lessons is accepting that not everyone will understand your journey. Human beings naturally want validation. We want people to understand our motivations and appreciate our efforts. But Stoicism reminds us that misunderstanding is part of life. No matter how clearly you explain your reasons, some people will still see your choices through the lens of their own beliefs and insecurities. This means that trying to convince everyone to understand you is not only exhausting but also impossible. A Stoic learns to accept this reality calmly. Instead of constantly defending their path, they stay committed to their principles and let time reveal the wisdom of their choices. Think about how much energy people waste trying to correct every misunderstanding or respond to every criticism. They spend hours explaining their dreams to people who never believed in them from the beginning. They defend their boundaries to those who benefit from them having none. This endless cycle weakens the mind and steals valuable time that could be used for meaningful growth. Stoicism offers a better approach. Focus on living with integrity rather than seeking universal approval. When your actions are guided by wisdom and discipline, you no longer need everyone's agreement. Some people will understand you, and others will not. The Stoic accepts both outcomes with the same calm mind. Another important lesson from Stoicism is recognizing that the need to constantly explain yourself often comes from the desire for approval. Many people believe they are simply clarifying their intentions when they explain their decisions, but beneath that explanation is often a quiet hope for validation. They want to hear that their choices make sense, that their goals are impressive, or that their lifestyle is acceptable. But building your confidence on approval from others is dangerous. Approval is temporary and unpredictable. Today someone may praise you, and tomorrow they may criticize the same decision. If your self-worth depends on these shifting opinions, your emotional stability will always be fragile. Stoicism teaches that a wise person anchors their identity in internal values rather than external reactions. Values such as courage, discipline, wisdom, and self-control become the foundation of your life. When you make decisions based on these principles, you develop a deeper form of confidence. You no longer rely on applause or agreement to feel secure in your path. This inner stability changes the way you interact with others. You stop explaining every choice because you are no longer seeking approval for it. Your life becomes guided by purpose rather than by public opinion. This quiet confidence is one of the most powerful traits a Stoic can develop. Stoic philosophy also encourages restraint in speech. In a world where people constantly share every detail of their lives, Stoicism reminds us that silence can be a form of wisdom. The more you talk about your plans and ambitions, the more opinions you invite into your life. Some of those opinions will be supportive, but many will be distracting or discouraging. When you explain your goals to everyone around you, you give them the opportunity to shake your confidence with their reactions. Stoics believed it was better to focus on action than on constant discussion. Instead of announcing every intention, they quietly worked toward their goals. This approach protects your mental clarity and reduces unnecessary noise in your life. It also builds a powerful sense of discipline. When you speak less about what you intend to do and spend more time actually doing it, your progress becomes your explanation. People begin to see the results rather than fear the promises. Over time, this habit strengthens your focus and prevents your energy from being scattered across countless conversations and debates. Another Stoic insight is that not every question deserves an answer. Sometimes people ask about your choices not because they genuinely care but because they want to judge or compare. Stoic thinkers understood that engaging in every discussion can pull you into unnecessary conflict. When someone is determined to misunderstand you, no amount of explanation will change their mind. In situations like this, silence becomes a form of strength rather than weakness. A Stoic does not feel compelled to respond to every opinion or criticism. Instead, they choose their battles carefully and invest their energy where it truly matters. This requires emotional discipline. The natural instinct when criticized is to defend yourself immediately. But Stoicism teaches patience and restraint. When you remain calm and refuse to be dragged into pointless arguments, you maintain control over your mind. Over time, this approach protects your peace and helps you avoid the emotional exhaustion that comes from trying to correct every misunderstanding in the world. Another powerful Stoic lesson is learning to set boundaries without feeling guilty. Many people over-explain themselves because they are afraid of disappointing others. They think that if they provide enough reasons for their decisions, people will accept them more easily. But boundaries are not negotiations, they are commitments to your own well-being. Stoicism teaches that you are responsible for your character and your actions, not for managing the emotions of everyone around you. When you decide to protect your time, your energy, or your values, you do not need to present a detailed defense of that decision. A simple and respectful statement is enough. People who truly respect you will understand, and those who do not would likely reject your boundaries no matter how carefully you explained them. Learning to stand firm without over-explaining is an important step toward personal freedom. Stoicism also teaches that your life is not a performance for an audience. Modern society often encourages people to live in a way that constantly seeks attention and validation. Social media, public opinion, and cultural expectations can create the illusion that every decision must be explained and approved by others. But Stoic philosophy rejects this mindset completely. Your life is not meant to be lived as a show for other people. It is meant to be lived with purpose, virtue, and self-respect. When you internalize this idea, you stop measuring your success by how impressed others are with your choices. Instead, you measure it by whether you are living according to your principles. This shift in perspective is incredibly freeing. You no longer feel the need to narrate every step of your journey or justify every decision. Your focus moves inward, where true growth happens. Another lesson Stoicism offers is the understanding that time is your most valuable resource. Every moment you spend explaining your life to people who do not truly care is time that could have been used for learning, creating, improving, or enjoying meaningful experiences. Stoic philosophers often reminded their students that life is short and unpredictable. Because of this, your energy should be invested wisely. Engaging in endless explanations about your choices rarely leads to meaningful progress. Instead, it keeps you trapped in cycles of approval seeking and argument. When you adopt a Stoic mindset, you begin to protect your time more carefully. You speak when it is useful and remain silent when it is not. This discipline allows you to focus on the activities that truly move your life forward. Stoicism also reminds us that actions are always stronger than words. You can explain your goals to someone for hours, but a single result can communicate more clearly than 1,000 explanations. When you consistently act with discipline, patience, and determination, people eventually see the truth of your character through your behavior. This is why Stoics placed such importance on living by example. Instead of trying to convince others with arguments, they demonstrated their values through their daily actions. Over time, this approach builds credibility and respect. People may doubt your words, but they cannot easily ignore consistent results. Finally, Stoicism teaches that true peace comes from focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. You cannot control how others interpret your decisions, and you cannot force them to approve of your life choices. Trying to do so will only create frustration and anxiety. What you can control is how you live each day. You can control your effort, your discipline, your integrity, and your mindset. When you concentrate on these things, the opinions of others lose much of their power over you. You begin to live with a calm sense of independence that few people ever achieve. If you found these Stoic lessons valuable and you want to continue learning how to build a stronger, calmer, and wiser mindset, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Here, we explore powerful Stoic ideas that help you master your emotions, sharpen your thinking, and live with greater purpose every single day.